Miss anyone else? Don't forget to add. All right, the meeting of the Iowa Board of Regents for April 23rd, 2026 will come to order, and I'll begin by calling the roll. Regent Dunkel.
Here.
Regent Hensley.
Here.
Regent Rouse.
Here.
Regent Reiswick.
Here.
Regent Gipple.
Here.
Regent Jaden.
Here.
Regent County.
Here.
Regent Lacey.
Here.
And Regent Kramer is present. We have a quorum, and the meeting can proceed. Are there any items board members would like to remove from the consent agenda or for a separate vote? All right, seeing none, we will ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Regent Jaden. Second by Regent Hensley. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Regent Dunkel.
Yes.
Regent Jaden.
Yes.
Regent Hensley.
Yes.
Regent Rouse.
Yes.
Regent Reiswick.
Yes.
Regent Gipple.
Yes.
Regent County.
Aye.
Regent Lacey.
Aye.
And Regent Kramer votes yes. So the motion is approved. Now we have a minute for the President's report. We've been busy. I want to express my appreciation to the board office team for all the work you've put in so far this year. We've had several initiatives going on as well as a very active legislative session. So the team has done a masterful job of navigating the dozens of bills going through the House and Senate. And thank you to the rest of the team who's been communicating and organizing visits with legislators and for the legal and professional responses to the many inquiries we've been getting. So our major goal this session has been building trust. Thanks to Regents Jaden and Hensley for the extra time at the Capitol and to all the regents for making visits with our legislative friends. We're not quite done with this session, but I think I can see the end from here. These initiatives and these negotiations with legislators resulted in a lot of the policy changes that we approved here at this meeting. Thanks to Regent Jaden and Keith Saunders and the university teams for putting together the deferred maintenance policies. We believe one of our responsibilities is to do everything we can to maintain and preserve our facilities for generations to come. We have 3 great campuses, and we want to keep improving them going forward. It is also our belief that it is in the state's best interest to make steady investments in our university infrastructure. It might not be sexy, but just like at home, you can pay a little early on to maintain, or you can pay a lot later. Although I think construction is kind of sexy. But we've been preparing our legislative friends that after a few years of demonstrating that we're doing everything we can to, on our end, to right-size our campuses and to get our house in order, we will be coming to them with a request for an increase in steady annual investment in our facilities. We owe that to our future Iowans. Other policy changes came from legislative negotiations. So many of our legislative friends agree that it is, with us, that it is better for the board to handle issues than it is to codify them. We, in turn, respect the principle of academic freedom and responsibility and prefer that the universities handle the academic issues rather than us. So our Chief Academic Officer, Rachel Boone, is going to work with, we'll appoint one of our regents to work with her, to work with the universities to with the leadership and faculty to review our general education requirements. We don't want this to be a board directed item. We want this to be the universities working through this process. So this initiative is just to find out what we're currently doing on general ed and compare that across departments and across the Regent system. Just like with the legislators, our goal is building trust with our faculty. We want to work together on this initiative rather than have the legislature mandate changes. We're also continuing our work on our efficiency study, REAPS, looking at the instructor review process, looking at accreditation agency options, and trying a tuition guarantee pilot program at one of the universities. It's a lot, and I appreciate everyone making this happen. Thank you for all your contributions yesterday and today, and now I look forward to hearing from our institutional heads about the great things happening at our 3 universities. While Dr. President Cook's coming forward, we also want to do a little resolution before we listen to you, and that is we're going to take a moment to honor one of our regents, J.C. Reiswick, who will be leaving the board, and this is his last meeting. So I'll ask you to come forward in a second, but let me read something first. We got that. I'll let you sit there so you don't have to stand here feeling weird. Whereas J.C. Reiswick was appointed to the Board of Regents by Governor Reynolds on June 21st, 2022, and was reappointed to the board in 2025, and whereas he was active with numerous committees, commissions, and task forces, both inside and outside the board, including serving as chair and vice chair of the board's Property and Facilities Committee, and whereas a key part of his role on the Property and Facilities Committee was to help shepherd the hundreds of millions of dollars in capital projects at Iowa's 3 public universities that came before the board, including new and renovated academic, residential, athletics, healthcare, and other facilities, and whereas he served as co-chair of the Iowa State Presidential Search Committee in 2025 that led to the hiring of the 17th president of ISU, Dr. David Cook, and whereas he brought a sensible and down-to-earth perspective to governance of Iowa's public universities, employing a common-sense, honest, and humble approach to servant leadership, and whereas he was guided by wanting to put what was best for students first, always keeping top of mind and considering how board decisions would impact those enrolled at our Iowa's public universities. Now therefore be it resolved that the Iowa Board of Regents expresses its deep gratitude to Regent Reiswick for his expertise, dedication, and extraordinary service and contributions to the Board of Regents, its institutions, students, and families, and all Iowans. J.C., you're a good friend, and we will miss you. Everyone, please join me in a round of applause to thank J.C. for his service. Now, please come up. So, we have a plaque with all the whereases. All right, back there. And we have a gift with some pictures from the universities. So there. And we have a card that all of us have signed. I did do a little editing. It said something like, you make the world a beautiful place or something. So I changed it to, you make the world better by serving on the Board of Regents. So, thank you. Would you like to say anything?
Sure. This is the reason I'm actually leaving is because I'm moving and leaving the state. It's really bittersweet because I get asked, what's the thing you're going to miss the most? And this is really true. I'm going to miss this the most. I came into this with a sense of responsibility and duty, and I'm leaving it with more of a sense of passion. It's such a great thing. I'm going to miss all of you, the people. This is one of the privileges of my life and something that I'll just cherish and be able to tell stories and just things that I'm really excited about going forward. So thank you to everybody. I'm going to miss all of you, but you're in great hands. So thank you very much.
Thanks, J.C. You will be missed. We appreciate you. So President Cook, let us know what's going on at Iowa State.
Happy to do so. It looks like my slides popped up there. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Welcome. to the Iowa State campus. Delighted to have the board here the last 2 days. And I'll say, Regent Ryswick, I've enjoyed getting to know you a little bit, and maybe I'll come visit you and tell you ride. That sounds like a pretty good place to be.
Everybody's welcome.
Everyone's, there you go, love it. So, well, it's delighted to have the board here, of course, delighted to have all of our colleagues from the University of Iowa, Northern Iowa here as well. I think it's only fitting that before we begin, I do want to say that our hearts go out to the University of Iowa and the Iowa City community during such a difficult time, and had the opportunity to talk a little bit with President Wilson, and delighted to hear she has such a strong team that they're getting through this in such a good way. But so, hang in there. I also want to say thank you to the board for yesterday at lunch. We had the opportunity to recognize some of our faculty and staff with Faculty and Staff Excellence Awards, and so that's very meaningful to our campus and to our employees that you'd step up and make that a priority. And these are individuals who, as you all know, have made a commitment on the faculty and staff side to the institution for a number of years. So they love the university, they love the institution, they wake up every day serving its mission, and for you all to take a moment to say that's important and that you value it means a lot to us. So thank you for that. So what have I been up to here? First and foremost, thank you again for the opportunity. I was offered the job back in November, humbled at that time. I remain humbled. And although I did not start until March 1st, I think I also kind of hit the ground running way back then. So I have a deep appreciation of President Winterstein. She and the senior leaders at Iowa State who are here, the office of the president, the list is long. From day one all the way back in November have been helping the new guy be successful. President Winterstein and the team put together a big old binder of homework for me. And then she stepped down, as you all know, at the end of the year, handed the baton off to David Spalding, who is the interim president. And I think David and I were meeting twice a week, and we continue to meet. So I think my point that I want you all to understand is just the transition's been amazing. Whoever would have been asked to take on this role, the university wanted to make sure that they were going to be successful. And so I'm drinking from the fire hose and sprinting and all the rest, but I got a pretty good head start too, and for that I'm very grateful. So again, March 1st was day one. That means that today is day 54 of my presidency. You all know I was born here, raised here, went to Ames High. I'm an Iowa State alum, but I've been gone for 30, 35 years, and I have a lot to learn. And so the collage of photos on the screen and all the rest are a little bit of me trying to do just that, you know, getting out, talking to people on campus, the various colleges, their boards, their leadership teams, the advisory boards made up of industry partners. You'll see, you know, agriculture leaders, some of our FFA students in photos, and of course, the governor and legislative leaders. So, you know, among all the list of people to say thank you to help me, you know, kind of get up to speed, Jillian Carlson, our state relations officer, has got me to Des Moines, to the Capitol, to start connecting with people. And you know, the mantra here a lot is just getting out there, listening and learning, and really trying to get a sense of, you know, what you're all looking for from the new president. Even one of the photos that's fun is day one for Iowa Staters. This will mean something. I got to go up into the Campanile and play the Campanile. So that was really quite special. But by extension, really, then this is kind of what I've been telling the campus and telling all of our key stakeholders, that I want to come in and take my first 100 days and just listen and learn and from their lead. And so the collage of photos you saw a moment ago, that's a little bit of what that's certainly all about. I come from another university where I was president, so I do feel like that was a great training ground. I have ideas, I have opinions of things I think make sense, but rather than jump into solutions and conclusions, I'm you know, getting out and talking to as many people as possible, and I am learning something new every day that's been really fun about what this university does, and again, that's through all those different venues, and I think what you're going to see from me is a real priority will be getting out across all these different groups in the first 100 days, but that will continue, you know, all summer. crisscrossing the state next fall, next spring, next summer, next fall. It's one of the great parts of the job. And, again, so everywhere, but also on campus, we'll continue to do that. One of the great joys of the job is you get to go to the dining halls and eat with the students. We've done that quite a bit. And so really enjoying it and learning a lot. So from everything I've learned by day 54, I've tried to think about how do I best tell this group kind of what I'm learning and what's happening, even though I still have a ton to learn and I'm not ready to say, hey, this is what I think. I do plan in June to, at that board meeting, kind of give you a synopsis of what I've all learned. So give me another 50 days and we'll get there. But I put this slide together, and it's imperfect, and I changed it a lot of different times because I was trying to figure out how do I best tell everybody all the amazing ways we have K through 12 students on campus, we have business and industry on campus, we have activity every day. So I picked a couple, and these are all great. So one of the great things I've gotten to do is have the World Food Prize, Iowa Youth Institute on campus, Iowa high school, basically 365 Iowa high school kids on campus who care about agriculture, who care about food security, who care about global agriculture. I was up on stage with former Secretary Vilsack, Governor Vilsack, as he was referred to that day, and our football coach, too, Jimmy Rogers. So how about that? So I was the least interesting and exciting person up on the stage that day, but they took over campus. That was fun. Something that's happened here in the last week, TRAC, that TRAC, that's our Translational AI Center, had a really nice event with 150 students, again, including industry partners, and again, including Iowa high school students who are engaging in kind of an AI hackathon kind of competition that was charged that day. The TRAC group is doing AI education to businesses on campus, integrating it into research, and I would tell you, I thought long and hard about having kind of an AI slide. I don't even know what I would put on it because I feel like every time I turn one direction or another, go into another room, it's something that we're learning or doing in that space. I've got to wrap my mind around that, but for sure that will be a priority in every industry, right, these days, but certainly in higher ed and certainly at Iowa State. So the next example is Iowa Learning Day. So this was last Saturday. Actually, last Saturday started with me going and greeting a bunch of Cub Scouts, several hundred Cub Scouts on campus who are doing their merit badges. That's cool. That's a fun morning. I walked out. The Student Innovation Center had I didn't know this was happening, but I walked over because it was buzzing at 8:30 in the morning, and a Design Institute group where we had college students from across the state were there competing again, and industry people there competing. And I had to leave that because I had to get to the Animal Learning Day, which was out in the Hanson Agricultural Center on the kind of south side of campus. 2,000 people there. It was just sort of a great community event. Other things were happening that day, but at the end of the day, and this is just in the last kind of week now, we had the fashion show. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever been to the Iowa State Fashion Show. I'd heard about it over and over again, but I'd never been. It's unbelievable. I don't think I can really describe it for you. You almost have to go and check it out yourself. But walked out onto the stage at CY Stevens. It's jam-packed. It's a really bad idea for my team to have me front and center in a group like that talking about fashion. I have no doubt that was a mistake, but blown away by the professionalism, the engagement, again, by industry investing in this event, and the incredible experience that this gave our students. And the thing I haven't said yet, but I should, pretty much all of this stuff is run by student organizations. Animal Learning Day, run by student organizations. The fashion show, run by our students, and so on. It's incredible to me the amount of responsibility that our student organizations and our students hold on this campus to advance our mission, and the way in which they do it in such a professional manner. So what have you learned in your first 54 days, or what have you learned, since you've been gone for 30, 35 years? It's that kind of engagement that I think is incredibly special. And then the final one here was FFA. When they come to town, they take over, right? And if any of you have been around that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So this is Hilton Coliseum, where we play basketball and wrestle and play volleyball. A good portion of that was taken over by FFA students who then, of course, crisscross campus, get engaged, and get involved, and they're all learning about leadership constantly there. And so that was a fun day as well. And this is, again, all in like the last week. The one that didn't make the cut that kind of bothered me, I wanted to mention it, is that we had 4-H kids, a little bit like this FFA event, take over Hilton Coliseum. They all had poster boards. I would have sworn there were at least undergraduate students, if not grad students, focusing on STEM, which is a great focus for Iowa State University. And so, again, just examples. That day there were 754 students on campus. So just lots of examples of how we have a vibrant community. Our students are taking leadership roles in advancing our mission. We're getting K-12 students here. We're getting industry here in all kinds of creative ways. And again, it's hard for me to articulate how that happens every day, but hopefully the snapshot gives you a small feel for that. Let's see. Do I have to do that? It's not moving my next slide here, guys. You've had enough of me already. Any advice?
Has it completely crashed out on us?
Sorry. That concludes my presentation.
There we go.
Are we back? Okay. It was probably my fault, no doubt, so I probably messed that up. So just for fun, a couple of other examples to show you work that we're doing in the research and innovation space. So this slide comes from March, where we dedicated the Advanced Magnet Facility at the Ames National Laboratory. In the photo is the Assistant Secretary of Energy, Audrey Robertson, of course, myself, Carl Mueller, if you can kind of tell, has got the scissors there, and then Dan Colhane leads the Ames Alliance. So you got business leadership, you have national, federal leadership, and of course, one of the best scientists you're going to find opening up a new facility that'll have a vital impact on our economy, the future of energy, and certainly national security. If you didn't know, the Iowa State Lab has been around for about 80 years, dates back to perhaps its most infamous moment, being involved with the Manhattan Project back during World War II, but it is the only national energy lab that sits on a university campus. That's spectacular. And the kind of research that happens there is also critical. And with this new advancement in magnet sciences, we're pretty excited. To give you an idea, the kind of work that we're going to be doing there is testing materials for permanent magnets like those used in electronic vehicles and wind turbines. The magnets traditionally rely on critical materials that in the U.S. we all know we currently import, which is actually a major, significant national security issue for us. Our scientists are working to improve magnet designs, reduce reliance on scarce minerals, and move ideas from the lab to real-world production. So that was a fun day. The next slide is another kind of fun example. Where Bayer Crop Sciences had a groundbreaking out in our research park. Again, a great example, industry coming onto campus, but creating opportunities for our faculty and researchers to solve problems that industry is facing on our campus and getting our students involved. So the photo has a lot of our leaders here from Iowa State, but you also see Bayer leadership there. You see Secretary Negg, you see Debbie Durham, among others. So just another, hopefully the photo speaks 1,000 words. One of the things I've learned about since I've been here, I kind of knew about it, but I've learned more about it, is our Iowa Mayor's Design Workshop. This is where we learned that small communities a few years ago are facing challenges. Mayors are facing challenges, and our folks stepped up between engineering and design and said, what can we do to help? And so they've gone out with 12 different communities in the last year. They're going to have 6 more communities moving forward where they're addressing local, rural challenges. You can see the communities there on the slide, but some of the fun things that they've tackled in these 12 communities. helping them deal with issues like riverfront redevelopment, flood resilience, trail systems, housing, and downtown renewal. So again, an example of our faculty stepping up, our students getting involved, us living out our land grant mission. And the reality is when you have extension agents out there too, they can continue to support that work. On the workforce front, just an example, nursing and healthcare are huge challenges. If you don't know, that's a little bit of my background, rural health, rural medicine, but thanks to you and your support, we're able to launch some new degrees that I think are really relevant to the workforce needs of the state. So we're excited, and and I had nothing to do with this. Probably anything you've heard I had nothing to do with, by the way, that I'm taking credit for here. So. But the fact that we're partnering with our community college systems, that's absolutely critical. You had a presentation yesterday on online, the fact that we're moving into the online space in this area. I think there's a lot of upside there. Again, it's about serving workforce needs in our state, and I think that's what myself and the other colleagues are all going to be about, so that we're pretty excited about these degrees. Thought this was timely. It just came out in Axios this week. If you happen to see it, it was in the communication that was sent out. Now, I find the chart to be a little confusing, and I rather than trying to go into great detail describing it, I would just say the bottom line here is a study was done to look at our Iowa State alumni dating back to 1982 to 2023. Historically, we've had graduates leaving, especially in the 80s. If you think about the farm crisis, they're leaving and they weren't coming back. We're starting to see more and more of them come back. Iowa State graduates, we call them boomerangs, like I'm a boomerang, right? Left and did your thing, but you came back to be close to family and come back to the state that you love. And so I think there's a lot of positive information in this survey. I think we want to dig in and learn from it to see what we can do as an institution. There's a real challenge in here that we have to make a priority. The rural brain drain remains something that we all collectively need to work together on. But this was promising. We can do better. We need to do better. We need to make this a priority. But when I saw that and it popped up in my inbox, I went, all right, we're doing pretty good. Some other numbers that are kind of fun, unrelated to this study, but related to the point of the slide, are when you look at our graduates staying in the state, and a lot goes into graduates staying in the state, and we can't control all of that, but last year 55% of our bachelor degree recipients stayed in Iowa to work and or continue their education. That was up from 49% the previous year, so that's a move in the right direction. And then last year, and this has just come out, 72% of our Iowa resident bachelor degree recipients stayed in the state, and that's up from 66%. So a lot of trend data, things going in the right direction. I know this is something our legislature cares about, the board cares about in terms of workforce and keeping our four-year graduates in the state. And like I said, I think there's great value in students leaving and coming back. Often there's all kinds of reasons why students stay or leave. But I also want you to know that this is something that's on my radar screen and will be a priority for me moving forward. Fun stuff, some rankings that have come out. We like to just, share this with you. Our College of Agriculture and Life Sciences ranks 7th in the world, according to the World University Rankings. I should just let that one sit there for a minute. That's pretty impressive. Also very proud of our College of Veterinary Medicine, ranked 10th in the World University Rankings that just came out. So we're very proud of the work and the research and the faculty and the staff that make these things happen every day. Of course, our Ivy College of Business MBA program just had the announcement that they're 38th, and really the story there is the trend and how they've just been growing and excelling, and very proud of some of those rankings as well. Okay, so my final slide, I just, again, one of these things you learn about when you're the new president, that we've been named a top 10 military-friendly school. I'm very proud of this, and I think this is incredibly important, and this will be something that also will be a priority for me. But the fact that we have 2,251 military-affiliated students who've had a great experience here. I'm very proud of that. We have all 4 branches, very proud of that. And if you read the fine print here, you're seeing that it's military friendly, but it's also military friendly to spouses. And there's a lot to be proud of in this slide and what we do to serve our students and our students who are going to go on and who will go on and serve our country. And so proud that Iowa State is a top 10 military friendly school. I think this is incredibly important as well. So with that, I'm concluding my first presentation of the Board of Regents. So would love to answer any questions from any of you or take any advice or feedback on any and everything. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Who has questions? Don't let him off this easy with these.
That'd be great, yeah.
Good.
First.
Okay.
First time?
All
Okay.
right, the first time. Well, thank you so
I'm
much.
off the hook. Okay, great.
All
Yeah,
right.
thanks again for the opportunity, everybody.
Yeah, appreciate it. President Nook is next. Somewhere in there's like a Nook and Cook joke, but I'll work on it for next time.
All right. Thank you, and thank you for the assistance with the slides. Really appreciate it. First of all, I want to extend my welcome to President Cook. It's been a pleasure to work with him for the last several years. We're both, his former institution and you and I were in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. We had an opportunity to work together on the leadership of that, and really looking forward to having him lead Iowa State University, one of my alma maters. So, President Cook, you'll go from day, is it 54 to 3,369 in a heartbeat. So, yeah, it passes really, really quickly. I also want to extend my thanks and gratitude to Regent Reiswick. It's been a pleasure to have you on this board and to work with you. Your commitment to our students, to the people of Iowa, to our faculty and staff is greatly appreciated. Thank you. We wish you all the best. And to President Wilson, our thoughts and prayers are with your entire campus, your student body, your faculty and staff, the community of Iowa City. These are very difficult times, and the challenges that you're facing, your community is facing, is the one that presidents really do think the most about and bothers us the most. So our thoughts are with you. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm going to do things a little bit differently than normal. Usually we're here and we talk about a bunch of numbers. I'm a numbers guy, and we talk about the impact of UNI, its economic impact, our graduation rates and retention rates and those sorts of things. But today, no numbers except maybe 150 and 1876 and 2026, but instead to talk a little bit about a different type of impact that universities have. And you saw a little glimpse of this even in President Cook's presentation. As you know, a few years ago, we created a purpose statement for the University of Northern Iowa. That purpose statement is that the purpose of the University of Northern Iowa is to enrich lives, communities, and the world through our students, our faculty, our staff, and our alumni. We also created 3 how statements. How do we achieve that purpose? How do we go about our work? And those 3 statements, we create an environment in which every person is able to reach their educational, their professional, and their personal life goals. We also empower individuals to build strong senses of purpose, community, and responsibility. And finally, we innovate ethical solutions to the problems of our time. Today, I want to focus a little bit on how we enrich communities and we build those strong senses of purpose, of community, and responsibility with 4 examples of some recent events on our campus. On March 25th, we had UNI Day at the Capitol, and we were recognized by the legislature, both houses of the legislature, for our 150th anniversary. It was 150 years ago in the middle of March that President Kirkwood signed the resolution that created a normal school in Cedar Falls. It didn't have a name. It was just go create a normal school, give it a name later. And out of that has grown the University of Northern Iowa. It was a pleasure to be down at the legislature to celebrate that recognition and to be a part of that and to have our students be a part of that. As that day at the Capitol unfolded, what it really presented was a time, one, to celebrate the university and our history, but more importantly, it was an opportunity for our students in particular, but also our faculty and staff, to engage with legislators, with the governor, with both elected and appointed officials. We have this rather well-known alum who goes by the title of Senator Chuck Grassley, who is often heard to say that you either help govern or you are governed. And many of us will never have the opportunity to hold either elected or appointed positions within the government, but we all have an opportunity to help govern. You do that through your service on this board. Our students had the opportunity at this event to speak with legislators, to help them understand the value of the education they're receiving, the value of the University of Northern Iowa to this state, and to engage in helping govern and to learn about how to help govern. So this really was an opportunity for us as a university to help students build a strong sense of civic responsibility and engage in helping to govern the state of Iowa, and especially to advocate for the University of Northern Iowa. On April 8th, we had a special event that was part of our 150th anniversary that is called Spring into Service, Cats Who Care. We have had a day of giving in the past, and it's usually on Martin Luther King Day. We did that again this year. It's an event called Backpack the Dome, where we pack about 70 to 80,000 backpacks for hungry school children across the state. We wanted to do something special and help really celebrate the relationship between the University of Northern Iowa and the greater Northeast Iowa, entire state of Iowa community. And so we put together a day of giving back. It says a day of service. It really was a day of giving back. This wasn't, though, just find a bunch of volunteer projects and go out and do them. Many of these projects were built into syllabi. They were built into training programs in our athletics teams. They were part of the curriculum. They weren't just a day to go out and lend a hand. It was a special event. We had several agencies that stepped up and helped out. Two in particular were critical to this. Viridian Credit Union was a big partner and sponsored much of the work. The Volunteer Center of Cedar Valley was also essential in helping us line up projects and other people that would work with us. Some of the examples of the partnerships and organizations that happened. Of course, we did some of the things that you'd expect, volunteering with the Northeast Iowa Food Bank, helping with Habitat for Humanity, packing food for third world countries with an organization from here in Des Moines. But we did some things that surprised me that I hadn't thought of, but because this was built into curriculum and we spent, faculty and staff, spent a year thinking about it, we did several other things. We helped the emergency preparedness team out of Dubuque train the people who enlist volunteers during an emergency. They've never had the chance to test run. How do you put a whole bunch of volunteers into action? Several of our sports teams stepped up to be the people who would be volunteering at a major emergency event, and could they test and figure out how to get them enrolled so that they could actually become volunteers and do the work that was needed. Our Grow Cedar Valley, the local Chamber of Commerce, asked for a group of students to sit down and help them understand what it would take to retain them in our community long-term as part of the workforce and part of the community members. We have a population study within the Cedar Valley to figure out how we grow our community. We recognize that we're losing too many of our 20 to 35-year-olds. And so they enlisted a group of students to volunteer and to answer a series of questions and to provide a dialogue about what they think of as important, what they're looking for in a community, what they're looking for in jobs, in a quality of life, an opportunity, again, to give back in a way that most isn't the simple volunteering that most of us think about. We also built some artwork for a museum in the area so that they could sell that. We had a couple of artists come in. It was all, you can see a picture of it down there in the lower left-hand corner of glasswork. This is for a facility that's located, that is a, I'm going to blank on the person that built it, but it's a home, and they sell all sorts of cut glass and things, and this is a way for them to have some additional art projects. We had guest artists in to help them put together these artworks, and the students learned to do a little stained glass work. One of the projects that I think we're the most proud of is during this time we delivered 151 beds to families who had no beds. There are 151 people sleeping on a bed now that just a few weeks ago were sleeping on the floor. Some of these were children, some of them are parents, some of them are older people, but they were all sleeping without a bed. The beds were all donated, and we worked with Love Inc. in town to make sure that those got delivered to families that could use those beds. In total, there were 77 different projects, 2,200 students and faculty members engaged, more than 4,500 hours of service to our community. Clearly, through this, we have built a strong sense of responsibility to our community and a strong sense of community. It has clearly enriched many lives, not the least of which are the students and the faculty and staff members who were involved in the activities. On March 27th through March 9th, for 3 days, we hosted the first robotics competition, Iowa Regional. This takes place in the McLeod Center and in the Unidome, and if you get a chance, you've got to come up for this. You can see some of the robots there on the lower middle portion of this slide. These are not small robots, and they are not battle bots. They're not to tear each other apart. This is actually a great design, First has put together, where these individuals spend a whole year designing a robot to do to play a very special game. And they will compete with and against other teams. And they have to learn to work with some other teams that they've never worked with to play this game. The Unidome is used as the pits. It's where they work on their robots. We have our applied engineering students and construction management students helping in the pits with any adjustments that need to be made or resources that they might need. And then they walk through the connector and come into the McLeod Center with music playing and lights flashing and an arena set up, and then to perform. And it is an exciting few days on our campus. We had 53 teams from 7 states on campus, more than 2,000 student team members involved in this. There were also 1,200 local 4th graders from Cedar Falls and Waterloo who attended to learn more about robotics and what it means to get involved in these sorts of activities. I want a special shout out to Marcy Seavey on our campus for helping organize this and working with the first team. I also want to thank John Deere in particular and the McElroy Trust for their partnership in making this event happen. As you can see, it's another example of how our university enriches lives and strengthens our community, not only in the state of Iowa, but in these 7 other states as well. We also recently hosted the Iowa All-State Individual Speech Contest. Iowa State hosts the competition, the Iowa State speech contest, the large group speech contest. We host the individual speech contest. To get here, students have to have already passed through the district competition and the state competition to reach All-State. UNI is the traditional site. It's been there at least as long as I've been involved with the university, and they tell me much longer than that. The particular areas in which students perform include acting and duet acting, poetry and prose reading, original oratory, improvisation, musical theater pieces, and radio news and storytelling. It is a competition, yes, but it's also a celebratory competition and a time to celebrate the work of these students and to celebrate the commitment that their faculty and staff have made to helping these young people grow in better understanding how to interact with other people and how to deliver great communication. This, too, has enriched many lives, not only these students that have come to our campus for the contest, but people on our campus who volunteered to help adjudicate these performances, to work with these students, to help them get around our campus. We certainly are, in this case, creating an environment where these young people can reach their academic, professional, and personal life goals. We have recently received some recognitions. I want to draw your attention first to the seal that is in the upper right-hand corner, the Carnegie Foundation Elective Classification for Community Engagement. As you think about the stories that I've just told you about activities on our campus, you can see that we are very definitely a community-engaged campus. We were one of the very, very first institutions to receive the community engagement seal of approval from the Carnegie Foundation, and have been re-recognized every single time that we have come up for that recognition. Is something that we're extremely proud of, the way that we engage not just in the Cedar Valley, but across the state, throughout the country, and around the world. In the upper left, you'll see the Carnegie Classification for Research Colleges and Universities. This is a new designation for us, partly because Carnegie has redone their designations. But in many ways, we aren't thought of as a research institution, and we certainly do not have the research output that an Iowa or an Iowa State has. And I'm very proud of that the state of Iowa has put together 3 institutions with very different missions, and our focus has been on education in particular. But Carnegie recognizes that we do a significant amount of research. This came about largely because in 2023 we had $4.6 million in research, and that has grown to $6 million in 2024, and it's continued to grow since that time. We are designated as a professionally focused undergraduate and grad master's program that in sort of the large to medium class. We have relatively medium earnings and low access in there, which means we have a fairly high selectivity rate, but we are a research college and university. There is only one other research college and university in the state, and that's Grinnell. There are only 3 research institutions in the state that are research active, that being Iowa State and University of Iowa, and then Des Moines University. So we're in a pretty good place here at the University of Northern Iowa. David pointed out that Iowa State has received these military-friendly designations, top 10 school. The University of Northern Iowa has also received that designation. We're extremely proud of that, that we're recognized for the way that we serve our veterans and our military active students, as well as their families, their spouses. So it's a great point of pride for us to be able to serve military families in this way. I know many of you have heard recently that we had a transition in our men's basketball program. We had an extremely successful season this year, winning the Missouri Valley Tournament, going on to the NCAA tournament, playing a great game out in San Diego. Unfortunately, the score didn't quite go our way. And then our longtime men's basketball coach accepted a position at Utah State. And we quickly were able to hire a new coach, Coach Kyle Green, someone who this state is very, very familiar with. Kyle spent the last 5 years here at Iowa State as an assistant coach, really running their defense, which was one of the premier lockdown defenses in men's basketball in the country. And before that, he had spent 16 years with the University of Northern Iowa. It's a person that we know well. We're delighted to have him coming back, and I have to say he looks a lot better in purple than he does in red. But very happy to have Kyle back in the Cedar Valley and leading our team. It was an emotional day to welcome him and his wife, Michelle, back to our campus as the new head coach of UNI men's basketball. So, as you can see, yes, we are here to educate, but we're here to do much more than that. It goes well beyond educating. It's not just about preparing for jobs or careers. It means preparing for life. Our purpose is to enrich lives and communities. We do that through our work and through our communities, and we do it throughout our lives. UNI has been doing this for 150 years. I thank all of you for engaging in that work, for helping us and helping these young people learn that it's more than about getting a job. It's about learning to be great people. It's about learning to give back to your communities, to engage in governance, and to make this place a better world in which to live. It is a tremendous privilege and honor for me to work with people at a university that really understands that our work does enrich lives, communities, and the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nook. Questions, Regent Hisley?
Thank you. Could you give us just a very quick update on the Grassley project?
Yeah, we have had our first meetings with the two committees that we've put together to start to build out the Grassley, the Chuck and Barbara Grassley Center, and those meetings are going well. We'll have probably a better update when we get to September as those committees really start to do their work. We've continued to work closely with Senator Grassley's staff on what that center will look like, and I think in September we'll have more of an update on what that will be. Yeah. Yep.
And not sure if all the regions knew that Regent County is acting as kind of liaison to those two committees and keep us up to date on what's going on. So appreciate that. Other questions? Anybody? All right. Thank you for the good report.
Thank you.
All right. President Wilson.
And what do I press when I want to? Oh, wait, to space bar. Just space bar, okay.
There we go.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you to President Cook for hosting us. It's been terrific, and I can already tell you're going to have an impact on this university. We look forward to partnering with you on many things. So I just realized it's President Cook, President Nook, and you're all going to want me to change my name to President Wook? No, I don't know. I'm not going to do that. But anyway, it's. I think both of my colleagues have pointed out it's a great privilege and honor to be in these roles and also to serve with fellow presidents who see the big picture and who recognize how these universities work together to improve the state. I also want to thank the members of the board here. You've all been great during a pretty challenging time for our campus. I've heard from many of you personally, and I'm really grateful for your support. And a special thanks to Regent Ryswick, who's going to be missed. And I can remember early on in your time in this role, you reached out to me with board permission and said, can I come to Iowa City and have lunch with you? Do you remember that? And we sat at Basta, and the first thing you said to me is, how can I support you? What can I do as a new regent to help make your time as president even better? And I'll never forget that, and I'm grateful. So stay in touch. You're always a Hawkeye, okay, even if you live in Colorado. So I have to acknowledge the horrific event that happened last weekend, and I want to thank all of you for reaching out and for supporting us. You know, it's times like this when you really realize what your teams are made of and what your university is made of. I don't think I'll ever forget walking in very early Sunday morning into our command central area and looking around at all of my colleagues who were sitting at their laptops and looking at their phones and working on hawk alerts and on messages and on who needs to know what and how do we coordinate to ensure that we support our faculty, most importantly our students, especially those who were involved in this tragedy, and our staff. I will forever be grateful for the teams that are at the University of Iowa. Couldn't do my job without them. And between public safety, student life, our deans, our provost office, and many, many others, it's just been a great example of how universities can make a tragedy feel a little better and can work together to alleviate the stress and strain. Of course, we're laser focused on the safety issues going forward, and I think you've already heard, but we will have more public safety people in Iowa City going forward, especially on the weekends, and we're working really closely with Iowa City Police on making sure that we get the perpetrators and that we continue to work together to make this a great place and to ensure safety going forward. So thank you all to you who reached out to me as well. I didn't answer all of your emails and texts, but I think I got to most of you, and it really is reassuring to know that we're working at such a great institution with such great regents. I thought today I would focus on outcomes. And, you know, I realize many times we come to you and we say we've created a committee, we've got a task force, we've got a group that's going to work on it, and then we often take a while to get to those outcomes. And so today I'm just going to focus on outcomes and things that we've accomplished since I've talked to you last, things that we're proud of in terms of outcomes. And I'm going to start with student success because, of course, you know, all of us are laser focused on how do we support our students. We talk a lot about retention and about graduation rates, but one of the things we don't talk as much about is what we call high impact practices. And very, quick definition of high impact practices. It's anything you do to increase students' engagement and workforce readiness and real world application and experiences. So some examples are the first year seminars that we host, our Hawkeye service breaks where we take students different places so that they can engage in service to communities and to the states, and then our Hawkeye experience grants. And those are really to help students gain work and internship support in places where there's no funding for those internships. And there are many in nonprofit areas where they don't have the funding to support an internship, and we can come in and help out. All of those kinds of activities do enhance student success, and there's a lot of national data to showcase that. But what I want to emphasize is our own efforts to increase those activities with students. When in 2023, our rate of participation in these kinds of high impact practices was 85%. We set a goal in our strategic plan to increase that to 90%, and we're already at 92% based on our senior survey data. So we're going to continue to work on those kinds of opportunities. They're great for resume building, but more importantly, they help build leaders among our students. We're constantly working on recruiting great faculty. I think I've said this before to you, but talent attraction, talent retention is about what makes great universities. Here's just 3 examples of recent hires that we're really excited about, and they're just 3 examples. There are many more I could bring to you. Taylor J., postdoc, coming to us. She did a postdoc at Oregon Health and Sciences University. She's researching neurodegenerative disorders like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So she just joined us in neuroscience and pharmacology. Scott Bolkin, who did a postdoc at Princeton most recently, he's joined psychological and brain sciences in our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and he researches how the brain evaluates sensory information, how the brain stores that information, and then uses it to guide actions. So brain research that's pretty important, especially in decision making and ways in which the brain intersects with how you do things. And then last but not least, just as an example, we have Vikas Dudeja, and he came to us from the University of Alabama at Birmingham, which is a very big health research enterprise. He's now the chair of our Department of Surgery, and he's a leading researcher in testing novel therapies for pancreatitis. So just a couple of examples. I could give you many more, but it's exciting when you bring new people in. It's exciting when they want to come to Iowa from great universities. And now we just have to keep working to retain them when they come. ReSpark, we talk a lot about that. It really dovetails nicely with the REAPS work that you all are helping guide. I just want to give 2 examples of maybe small but big examples of outcomes. So recently we reviewed, and we're looking at everything, as you know, but we recently reviewed all of our retirement plans for our retirees, and we realized we had a lot of options, way too many options when you looked at the kinds of selections that our retirees were making. And a simple adjustment of moving from 51 options down to 22 options, so we still have many, has allowed us to streamline our investment options, streamline the processes, and it will save us an estimated $5.6 million. It doesn't impact our employees at all because they're not choosing many of these that we were paying fees for, and now we can eliminate them. So just one small example, but with a pretty big impact. Another example, we've been looking a lot at how we batch just small transactions, and we've got so many of them across every part of our institution every day. So how can we automate more of these? How can we become more efficient? So one example, if a college decides to increase the hourly wage of its undergraduates for 100 student workers, that would take 100 transactions right now. So just think about that. And we've begun to work at automating some of that, doing high volume batch processing. And we can do that now with one transaction affecting 100 students. We know we can continue to do this, but just the example of HR changes in our batch processing, we're going to save roughly $8,000 a year. That's a small amount, but when you accumulate it across multiple years and across many other savings efforts, we're going to start to see some differences. So I want you to know we're doing this. We're doing it with a lot of care and concern. We've got a lot of people and a lot of teams, and we're making sure that every change that we make has positive impact. And what we're telling our people is this is our effort to be leaner, more efficient, so we can put more money into our people and make sure we can do the kinds of salary increases and retention offers that we need to engage in. AI, we could talk a lot about AI. I think President Cook mentioned that. I could spend a lot of time on that, but what I will tell you is we are doing things, I think, at Iowa a little differently than some of our peers. Many other universities launched new AI schools. They've created new programs. They've rushed in to spend huge sums of money on new technologies, and it's changing so quickly that in many cases those are already out of date. And so what we've really done is we've tried to think more about how do we support our students in this ever-changing landscape. And we've made some conscious choices. We're calling it our 4-pillar strategy. It's very Iowan, if you know how we manage things. We now have a new module on AI in our orientation, Success at Iowa, orientation for students. So before they even set foot on our campus, they're getting an introduction to what AI is, what they should be able to expect in the syllabi that they encounter in their faculty courses, faculty-driven courses. We talk to them about different forms of AI. We show them where they can locate those on our campus, how they can access technology that we know is protected. They get that before they even come to campus now. In addition to that, we have a rhetoric requirement now that's embedding AI literacy for almost every first-year student. Who would have thought 10 years ago that a rhetoric class would have an AI component? But it does, and I think it's a really important part of how we teach students how to write, how to think, how to speak, using AI in a thought-provoking and also a critical way. And then, of course, we have AI across the curriculum. We have a lot of discipline-specific integration, but almost every unit on campus is thinking about AI. And we now have launched a new interdisciplinary AI certificate for our students to add to their majors when they go out in the workforce. Hopefully that will make them more competitive. So I want you to know we're reaching students often. It's beginning before they even get to campus, and we're also helping our faculty learn how to teach in this new time of artificial intelligence. I can't end my remarks without talking about cancer. You all know the data. I'm not telling you anything new. I think it's been pretty clear that Iowa has a cancer problem. Our cancer rates are too high. Cancer is increasing. We know just from the recent report that we issued that we will be faced with 21,700 new cases of invasive cancer this year alone. And we know that too many Iowans will die from cancer this year. We also know that survivorship is increasing. So that's a part of the story that we don't talk about very much, and that's partly because of research and prevention. And I'm proud of that work that we're doing. After issuing this report, our team on campus, led by Mary Charlton, who's an amazing professor in our College of Public Health, is leading an effort to go around to all 99 counties, present the data, the information in this report, and to work with communities on prevention and education and training. She's already gone, she and her team have already visited 56 counties, and they've got 39 in process to be scheduled. There's a few we're still working to include, but our goal is to get to all 99 counties before the end of the year, and I think we're on track to do that. So we're going to continue to work on cancer and draw more and more incredible faculty and healthcare professionals to this state and to our university to help in this effort. Last but not least, we are working really hard to enhance the number of nurses in Iowa. We know this is a shortage, and it's part of our responsibility. We are grateful that our two sister institutions are working on this as well. I just want to give you some updates. We really have 3 pathways into nursing. They're all active, but they've been reactivated and strengthened under the current situation. So, of course, our Bachelor of Science in Nursing is the main pathway, and it's a #1 college of nursing, public college of nursing. We're very happy about that. We've worked really hard to increase the size of the freshman class from 160 to 180 students. That may not seem like very much, but when you multiply that over multiple years, it will greatly enhance their enrollments over time. And we're being much more explicit about the minimum requirements for residents and for non-residents. So students know they will have much more access to direct admit into the College of Nursing. We're also continuing to strengthen our pathways to community college partnerships. We've got a number already in place, but we're continuing to grow those. This is a way for people to start their education at community colleges and then finish at Iowa with a BSN. And the nice thing about these programs is people can stay in place in their communities in Iowa, continue to work in their nursing capacity, and just grow their educational efforts and get their BSN. And then last but not least, we have a Master of Nursing program. It's been around for several years, but I think we're doing a better job now of elevating it as an option for our students. It's an 18-month program. Any student can add it to an undergraduate degree, 18 months, and they come out with a Master of Science in Nursing. And what we find is that a lot of our students don't come in as nurses, don't come in as nursing students, but along the way, because they get such tremendous exposure to our healthcare opportunities, they decide they want to work in nursing. And so this is a way to do it in 18 months, stay on campus, get lots of clinical and leadership experience in this degree. So just want to make sure that you know that we recognize the responsibility that we have, and we're committed to increasing the number of nurses in the state of Iowa. That's the end of my formal presentations. Happy to take questions. I think I also forgot to say that I'm so grateful to our healthcare professionals in the wake of last weekend as well. Two of our hospitals were activated during this. We've had so many people involved in helping the students and the community members who were shot. It's been all hands on deck. I can't tell you how proud I am to work at the University of Iowa. So thanks, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, President Wilson. Do we have some questions? Yes, Regent Gibble.
I'm just wondering, I love your 4-pillar strategy. I think that's a really strong concept that you've developed about AI. But with your programs, I'm wondering if you have any idea how often you'll update those to keep them relevant. Like you said,
Yes.
they go out of date quickly.
Yeah, often, probably every year, if not more. I mean, we always update the modules for the orientation once a year. The great news is the provost's office and Barry Thomas, who I think was here yesterday, has worked really closely with our new CIO. We have an industry task force, a group of industry leaders who are consulting with us on a regular basis, keeping us abreast of what's going on and making sure that what we're doing stays current, because you're right, it's changing all the time. And the more you think you're doing everything you need to do, the less you recognize how fast the horizon is changing. So, good question.
Yeah, Regent Dunkel?
Not a question, just a shout out and thank you for the cancer booklet. Those of us that really care about cancer in Iowa want that awareness, and I'm so glad you're going around. Thank you.
Thank you. I might just underscore briefly, I mean, it's tempting to want to blame one thing for cancer in Iowa, but if you read the report, you recognize pretty quickly that the types of cancer and the cases vary depending on where you live, and so everybody always wants a quick answer. We need to do X to solve this problem. It's more complicated than that, and hopefully our professionals are getting out there and helping communities think about prevention and think about education, and some of it's lifestyle choices that we have to help people appreciate. So thank you.
Yeah, Regent County?
Thank you. President Wilson, great numbers on the nursing school, increasing in enrollment. That's a big deal in Iowa, and we're seeing more competition, no doubt, throughout Iowa for nursing, going back to COVID, whatnot, the shortage. Let's keep them in Iowa.
Yeah.
That could be a great priority for the University of Iowa and the Board of Regents, perhaps with the legislature as well, to see what we can do to keep these folks here after they graduate from school.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think we've started talking more with legislators, and I know I've had this conversation with the governor, but trying to think about ways to incentivize people to stay in Iowa once they graduate. And that's not just our nurses, but our physicians and our PAs, who are now physician associates, not physician assistants, but our dentists, our pharmacists. You know, it doesn't take a lot to keep people grounded, but it's jobs and it's some support around maybe student loan repayments, and then providing opportunities for them to get clinical practice out in the rural communities and across the state. So we're working on that. We welcome partnerships with you and with the legislators around that.
All right, anybody else? Well, thank you, and I want you to know the board really, like we talked last night, the board really supports you as you're partnering with City of Iowa City, that if there's some changes in that area, we want to help you do that, maybe think out of the box, do something different, but we got to have a safe place for students, and we all agree on that. Thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you to all three of you, and I should have mentioned, President Cook, when you were up here, that as you and I talked the other day, you're still in this honeymoon phase, but man, I've never heard a single word of anybody say anything negative about you so far. So far, so good. So just keep that up for about 20 years and we'll be good. So at this time, let me introduce Board Counsel Amy Clays. She'll introduce each of our faculty and staff representatives to present today about non-represented faculty and staff on the 2027 salary policy. So, Amy.
Will the presenters please join me at the table? Are there enough chairs? Yeah, you can share my mic. Good morning. Representatives from faculty and staff groups who are not organized for collective bargaining purposes have been invited to provide presentations on FY27 salary policies. Our first presenter on behalf of ISU's Professional and Scientific Council is Jennifer Schroeder.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer Schroeder, and I am proud to serve as the president of the Professional and Scientific Council at Iowa State University, where I get to represent more than 3,500 P&S employees. Thank you for the opportunity to share my experiences and my perspectives with you this morning. As you consider salary policies, I urge you to make meaningful financial investments in staff compensation, investments that are essential to attracting and retaining highly talented professionals who live our mission, serve our students, and strengthen our university. I'll start with something personal because I believe that my experience reflects two realities of those I represent. I came to Iowa State a year after graduating from UNI, starting out as an entry-level financial aid advisor. Over the past 20 years, I have grown professionally at Iowa State through frontline student-facing roles in financial aid and accounts receivable, and spending the past 4 years working behind the scenes in operations and finance. One reality that my experience represents is that building a career of this length at Iowa State is something to be very proud of. I know that I definitely am. Like other P&S employees who can stay and grow with Iowa State, it means that we have shown up day after day, year after year, because we believe deeply in the work and the impact that we make. The second reality that my experience highlights is that a tenure of this length is becoming less common. Many employees who want to build a similar career simply cannot remain in higher education right now for a multitude of reasons, including salary decisions. Over 2 decades, I've watched this university grow, adapt, and persevere through recessions, a global pandemic, and shifting student needs and demographics. I've watched staff show extraordinary care and compassion to students on their very hardest days and continue supporting them to graduation. I've seen countless employees, including myself, stay late, work weekends, and go above and beyond, not because anyone asked me to, but because I care. Unfortunately, I know what happens when salaries don't remain competitive. We lose talented staff. Student-facing and operationally essential departments, like the ones I've been a part of, end up shouldering more of the work with fewer people and fewer resources, but the same expectation for excellence. Departments lose critical knowledge, burnout rates rise. This practice is not sustainable. Employees end up asking themselves a very difficult question. Can I afford to stay? Do I want to stay? With a background in finance, I understood the university's budget on the surface level. Serving as council president, though, has made me acutely aware of the financial realities that we face. Budgets are tight, appropriations are flat, the long-awaited enrollment cliff is here, and higher education is changing rapidly. Yet one thing has remained constant: the central role of staff in every single thing we do. Professional and scientific employees touch nearly every operation of this university, often behind the scenes, but always in a way that directly affects our students, our faculty, and our communities. It's the professional and scientific staff who are out there recruiting the next class of Cyclones. We cultivate and empower students to thrive while they're at Iowa State and long after. We reassure those nervous parents sending their kiddos to college for the first time. We collaborate with faculty through research and innovation. We maintain critical compliance that keeps our university operational. We strengthen the communities in all 99 Iowa counties, and we show up every single day to keep this university moving forward. When we can retain the right people in the right roles, Iowa State shines. Retaining skilled, experienced employees leads to stronger outcomes, smoother operations, and more innovation. Why? Because departments can build on successes instead of constantly rebuilding through staff turnover. To continue delivering this level of service and impact, we need salaries that are competitive, salaries that allow people to stay, grow, and contribute to the heart and soul of Iowa State, salaries that provide security and stability needed to start a family, buy a home, and fully invest in the Iowa communities we're proud to be a part of. My request is simple: invest financially in our staff. Competitive salaries don't just increase a paycheck. They strengthen the work that drives student success, fuels innovation, and powers our operations across the entire state. They help recruit highly skilled professionals and retain those professionals whose expertise and institutional knowledge can solve complex problems to maintain continuity and deliver the top-notch Cyclone experience that our students and stakeholders have come to expect and deserve. One final request, perhaps more of a challenge: be curious. Be curious about the work that P&S employees do every single day. Don't rely on assumptions or secondhand impressions. Engage with us. Ask us questions. Observe. Listen. When you see what we do up close, the value and impact of our contributions becomes undeniable. And when recognized through meaningful compensation, employees feel appreciated, the best talent is retained, and Iowa State grows stronger. Thank you very much for your continued support of Iowa State and the people that make this university extraordinary.
Thank you, Jennifer. Our next presenter is Megan Gillette on behalf of the Iowa State University faculty.
Thank you. Sorry. Can you hear me now? Yeah. I just wanted to take a minute to wish Regent Reiswick well on his next chapter. As many of you know, I had the honor of co-chairing the ISU President Search with him, and he was nothing short of a fantastic partner. So you will absolutely be missed. With that, thank you for the opportunity to talk about faculty salaries. I want to begin by highlighting the strength of Iowa State's faculty contributions right now. ISU faculty have secured record-breaking levels of external research funding, including major federal awards and industry partnerships. They've also developed new technologies in the agriculture, engineering, energy, and data science sectors, just to name a few, that both address scientific challenges and spur economic development across our state. Faculty continue to update and develop new curricular offerings that meet Iowa's workforce needs, including the graduate program in user experience that you heard about yesterday. Faculty have also translated their research into patents, startups, and extension and outreach efforts in all 99 counties in Iowa. When Iowa State faculty secure external funding, partner with industry, address workforce needs, and innovate in ways that serve the public good, students are the ones who immediately benefit. By gaining hands-on training through lab or research positions, field experiences, study abroad, and receiving mentoring and instruction by faculty who are at the cutting edge of their field. This partnership between faculty and students is unique in higher education. Students experience faculty mentoring and instruction in an environment where they can take risks and think big and be wrong without impacting their job performance or their next paycheck. In this unique environment, faculty not only provide feedback to students on the content of their assignments or their research, students also learn how to receive feedback that supports critical thinking, problem solving, and adapting to new information. Faculty hold students accountable for completing their work on time, attending class, and working effectively with others. Ultimately, these experiences provided by faculty develop graduates with real-world experiences and transferable skills that employers want. Maintaining this high-quality experience that sets students up for success depends on recruiting and retaining high-quality faculty. We all know faculty are not in academia to make a lot of money. Faculty value students, intellectual discovery, and public impact. But like any job, compensation is important, and providing competitive compensation is, of course, crucial for recruiting and retaining faculty who are productive, gain external funding, develop industry partnerships, innovate for the public good, and most importantly, are deeply engaged in student success. Thank you for your time.
On behalf of the University of Iowa faculty, Craig Just.
Hello, and thank you for the invitation to speak today. I've attended all three Regents universities. My first year at Iowa State, we'll just call that exploratory. I transferred to UNI and got 2 degrees in chemistry, and then I got my PhD at the University of Iowa in environmental engineering. As president of the Faculty Senate at the University of Iowa, I represent approximately 2,900 faculty across tenure, clinical, instructional, and research tracks. Our Faculty Senate, composed of nearly 80 representatives from all academic units, serves as the primary channel of communication between faculty and central administration. While advisory, we strive for authentic shared governance, an approach we believe best serves Iowans. While many faculty would welcome and certainly deserve salary increases, I will focus on the strong return on investment currently being delivered with the view that additional investment would yield even greater benefits. I also want to emphasize that this investment is at risk when academic freedom is continually challenged. I find teaching equations and system design immensely satisfying, but that is not why I became an environmental engineering professor. I chose this path to help students grapple with real-world complexity at the intersection of science, society, and ethics. Environmental engineering is not just about cleaner water or better waste systems. It is about how human choices shape communities, economies, and ecosystems. My mission is to prepare students not only to design systems, but to understand the human consequences those systems create. Early in my career, I saw how technical expertise could transform polluted water into something safe, turn waste into energy, and build resilience to extreme weather. I also learned that engineering solutions alone are not enough. Every design involves decisions about who benefits, who bears the cost, and who has a voice. That realization shaped both my engineering research practice, my service, and my teaching. In the classroom, we connect technical rigor with civic responsibility. Engineers must balance accuracy with fairness and calculations with an understanding of people. Practice-based case studies prepare students to navigate these realities. Consider eminent domain, the government's authority to take private land for public use, a topic that remains controversial in Iowa. Students quickly see that infrastructure projects may require displacing people or reshaping communities. In the classroom, we examine policy, engineering benefits, historical impacts, and human consequences while considering perspectives from landowners, engineers, policymakers, and citizens. My goal is not to tell students what to think, but to teach them how to think, deeply, ethically, and across perspectives. These discussions help develop engineers who can navigate disagreement with professionalism and objectivity. Academic freedom allows me to teach topics like eminent domain, even when others question its place in the curriculum. It protects faculty from being silenced by donors or political pressures. I welcome board actions that reinforce academic freedom values, particularly when courses or content are targeted for non-academic reasons. Without academic freedom, we cannot fully prepare students for the complex realities they will face, and Iowa will be poorer for it. In closing, academic freedom is not an abstraction. It is essential to delivering value to Iowans. The return on Iowa taxpayer and student tuition investment is measured in graduates who can solve problems, navigate complexity, and serve their communities with integrity. That return is strengthened when faculty are trusted. Allow us the opportunity to earn your trust. I invite you to visit us in Iowa City more often and to bring others engaged in public service to meet more of our faculty in person and to see their amazing work firsthand. Thank you.
On behalf of the University of Iowa Staff Council, Nita Barrett.
Good morning, President Kramer, President Pro Tem Jaden, and esteemed members of the Board of Regents. My name is Nita Barrett, and I'm here today to represent University of Iowa Staff Council. I'm also the Senior Human Resources Director in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, which is one of the largest and most complex colleges in the heart of our campus. I'd like to start by providing a little personal context for my remarks to you today. I was born in Iran and spent my earliest childhood years there, but I grew up mostly in Sweden after my parents fled the revolution in search of a better life for our family. I moved to the United States in my mid-20s, and it was not long before I found my way to the University of Iowa. One of my earliest memories here was painting some walls at the Obermann Center when the center moved into a new location. Not because anyone asked me to paint walls, but because I wanted to create a pleasant work environment for people that would visit the center. It was a small task, but it meant something bigger. It was about building a space and community and building a future. Over the past 2 decades, I've had the privilege of growing up alongside this institution. This is more than where I work, it's my home. The university is where I built a career, it's where I found a community in which to raise my children, and it's where I found a deep sense of purpose. As my term as Staff Council President comes to a close, I've had some time reflecting, and what I feel most is appreciation. Serving in this role has been one of the most meaningful experiences of my time at the university. It's given me the privilege to listen and learn and advocate for more than 9,000 staff members who keep this institution running day after day. Across our staff, we represent a wide range of backgrounds, perspectives, and experiences. But we're united by one thing, a shared belief in the value of higher education and the importance of the University of Iowa in the life of the state and this country. Our values endure beyond shifting priorities or political moments, beyond national crisis or conflicts. The work our staff do truly matters. Staff are the steady hands behind the scenes, the problem solvers, the connectors, the people ensuring that students are supported, faculty can succeed, and our mission moves forward. No role is too small, and no contribution is insignificant. In many instances, staff could earn higher salaries in a private sector, and yet people stay. Part of what keeps people here is the full picture of what it means to be in a public institution like ours. This year, Staff Council has been intentional about highlighting total rewards, the combination of benefits, flexibility, stability, and long-term investment that go beyond the paycheck. So while it's true that a lot of us could earn more elsewhere, we stay because of both purpose and the broader value of working here. And we stay because we're supported by leaders like you, who make your presence known on our campus. That visibility speaks volumes. It reflects your commitment and the care with which you serve as stewards of this institution. And for that, I am deeply grateful. Like many of our staff, I wear many hats. I'm a full-time employee. I'm a single parent to Lily and Henrik. And like so many of my colleagues, I continue to take on additional responsibilities, including serving on Staff Council. This additional work is not compensated, and I know yours is not as well. We have a lot in common. But we all do this because we care deeply about this institution and what we're building for the next generation. I would be remiss if I didn't share what I'm hearing from staff, though. Our staff are facing real challenges like burnout and increasing workloads and positions that go unfilled, with responsibilities redistributed but not resourced due to ongoing financial pressures. There's also the invisible demands of caregiving at home, which becomes more difficult as job expectations continue to grow. Staff are doing more with less, and they do it with dedication and professionalism and heart, but it does take a toll. Compensation is not why we do this work, but it does matter, especially as the cost of living continues to rise. The financial well-being of our staff is directly tied to the success of our institution. If we want to retain talented and committed individuals who make the university exceptional, we have to ensure they're supported and sustained. This is where your leadership matters deeply. As state appropriations have declined, we ask that you continue to advocate to champion higher education and the people who make it possible. Support for our public institutions must include support for the employees who bring those institutions to life every day. So as I close, I want to thank you for your leadership and for your continued support of the students, staff, and faculty at the University of Iowa. You may not be on our campus every day, but you're an integral part of everything that we do. The world is a complicated place, never more so than right now, and it can be difficult sometimes to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I'm also sharply aware of how fortunate we are, you, me, and everyone who works for Regent institutions, to live in a society that invests in higher education and takes its values seriously. And I'm grateful for all the roles, small or not small, that I'm asked to play in the life of those institutions. Please continue to stand with us and help make sure the state of Iowa's commitment to the values that drive our work remains strong. I hope you always feel welcome to reach out, ask questions, engage, and listen with the voices of those who live this work every day. Thank you so much.
On behalf of the University of Northern Iowa Professional and Scientific Council, Nathan Arndt.
Test, okay. So first, I want to begin by thanking the Board of Regents for this opportunity to take a few minutes to speak with you on behalf of 649 different PNS staff members across the University of Northern Iowa. I also want to thank my colleagues from the other Regent schools for their comments and their commitment to making our organizations better. While there are clear differences from school to school, we all share a common goal of student success and providing students with opportunities and support, no matter what our roles or our titles are, and I think that's critical. Across our campuses, PNS staff members are people who keep the institution moving quietly, consistently, and with deep pride in the work we do. We are advisors, IT professionals, researchers, student support specialists, finance experts, educators, and so much more. We are often the first to adapt when needs shift, the ones who fill gaps when resources are tight, and the ones who ensure that students, faculty, and programs have what they need to thrive. At UNI, our staff has shown remarkable resilience and creativity in the face of increasing workloads, rising expectations, and limited resources. They continue to show up for students and colleagues because they believe in the mission of higher education and the transformative power of the work we do. But belief alone cannot sustain an institution. Respect, fair compensation, and manageable workloads are not luxuries. They are the foundation that allows us to deliver on the promise we make to our students and to the state of Iowa. As I meet with PNS staff across campus, these three themes come up again and again. The concerns are not isolated, and they are not new, but they are growing louder, and they're becoming harder for people to ignore. Once again, these three issues we hear most are compensation, workload, and respect. Staff are feeling the strain of wages that are not keeping pace with the market, paired with benefits that are continuing to erode. Staff are paying more for less. Medical costs increased in 2025, and prescription drug coverage is worsening in 26. These changes matters to families, to budgets, and to the sense of whether the institution is investing in the people to keep it running. Over the last 5 years, UNI has lost 56 total faculty members. That loss has real consequences. Today, 23 PNS are formally contracted to teach courses, and additional staff are teaching without contracts, stepping in because the work must get done and there's no one else to do it. At UNI, our staff continue to demonstrate remarkable resilience, creativity, and commitment. Even as workloads rise and resources tighten, they show up every day because they believe in the mission of higher education and in the impact UNI has on the students and the state of Iowa. Their dedication is one of our greatest strengths. Respect in the workplace is the most difficult to quantify, but is one of the most deeply felt. Staff want to be seen, heard, and valued for the expertise they bring. They want to contribute to the decisions that shape the institution's future. When workloads rise and budgets shrink, it becomes harder to maintain that sense of partnership. Yet the desire for collaboration remains very strong, and it represents one of UNI's greatest opportunities for strengthening campus culture. These three issues, compensation, workload, and respect, are interconnected. Together, they shape the daily experience of our PNS staff, who support this university, its mission, and the students. Addressing them is not only possible, it's essential to sustaining the momentum UNI has built. When we invest in the people who carry out the work, we strengthen morale, improve retention, and enhance the quality of the service we provide. As I close, I want to return to the shared purpose that brings us all to this work. Every conversation we had today comes back to student success. None of us can fulfill that mission alone. It takes faculty, PNS, merit, and it takes leadership from every level together to make that happen. The concerns I share are real, and they are felt deeply by the people who keep this institution moving. But they are not rooted in negativity, and I want to make sure that's very clear. This is not negativity coming from these people. It comes from a place of commitment, pride, and respect for the people and the students that they serve. I went off script and I lost my spot. I'm so sorry. There we go. What PNS staff are asking is unreasonable, like I said. Oh, and they're asking for partnership, true partnership, voices, communication, and building solutions that work for everyone who strives to serve our students. If we can continue to strengthen transparency, if we can find creative ways to recognize and support staff even when budgets are tight, if we can make their contributions visible and meaningful, then we will not only improve the experience of our employees, we will strengthen the entire educational ecosystem. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your willingness to engage in these conversations. I look forward to continuing this work together and building a future where every person who serves our students feels valued, supported, and is essential to the missions we all share. Thank you.
That concludes the presentations. Would be happy to entertain any questions.
All right, does anyone have questions, Regents? I've got a couple comments. I thank you for presenting. And you guys represent the best of what's going on at these universities. And so, in fact, Craig, I think, mentioned to it, and you had good comments there that lead into what I was going to say, that, you know, I tout myself as a bridge builder. And so I'm building a bridge with the legislature, is building trust with them, but we want to build trust with you as well. And I think maybe between the two, we can build trust between you and the legislature. I think there are some misconceptions in Iowa of what's going on. We know that the vast majority of our faculty, staff, professional are doing a professional job, are presenting controversial topics in a professional, fair, and balanced way. And so we want to tout that story to our legislative friends and build that trust. So we thank you, and you can, you know, help us take that message back to the campuses as well. Someone else mentioned partnering. We do want to spend more time on campus. So we'll have that as our goal this year, is to be there more often and build that trust with everyone. So thank you so much for sharing. Okay, we're going to take a 5.5-minute break. So we'll be right back. I now recognize Brad Berg from the Board of Regents office, who will introduce the student government representatives who will make remarks on the proposed 26-27 tuition and fees.
Thank you, President Kramer. Before the board today is the second and final reading of the proposed tuition and mandatory fees, as well as the common and university-specific fees for the 2026-27 academic year. The proposed rates before you today remain unchanged from the first reading that the board received in February. But I want to first thank the student representatives today for their comments. And so unless there are specific questions for me at this time, we can go ahead and hear from them and wrap it up from there. Our first presenter is Emily Cross representing the University of Iowa.
Good afternoon, members of the Board of Regents. My name is Emily Cross, and I serve as the student body president-elect at the University of Iowa. I'm also an out-of-state student. I want to begin by acknowledging the approach taken in the proposal. I understand that rising costs are a reality for institutions, and I recognize the effort to balance those needs with the impact on students. I want to thank you for capping the tuition and fee increase at a maximum of 3%. That commitment to predictability and restraint is meaningful, and it does make a difference. At the same time, I think it's important to ground the percentage in what it represents for students. Across the board, the University of Iowa is increasing tuition and mandatory fees by 3%. For out-of-state students like me, that brings the total cost to about $34,247, an increase of more than $500 in a single year. And while 3% may sound modest, the reality in that is that these increases are not happening in isolation. They happen year after year. For students, that means the cost of staying here doesn't just rise once, it compounds. What starts as a few $100s becomes thousands over the course of a degree. From my perspective, that impact is very real. It's not just a number on a bill, it affects daily decisions. It means taking on more hours at work, sometimes at the expense of academics or involvement. It means relying more heavily on loans. It means having to think twice about opportunities that are supposed to enhance the college experience, but often come with additional costs. And for out-of-state students especially, that burden is even greater. We are already paying significantly more to be here, and while we choose Iowa for everything it offers, each increase makes that choice more difficult to sustain. That's why I want to emphasize something simple. Appreciation and impact can exist at the same time. I appreciate the 3% cap. I appreciate the effort to provide consistency and avoid larger spikes in cost, but I also want to make sure that the lived experience of students remains part of the conversation, because even within the cap, the financial impact is real. Affordability is not just how Iowa compares to peer institutions. It's not just about staying within a certain percentage increase. It's about whether students can realistically continue their education without taking on an unsustainable financial strain. When students are stretched too thin, it doesn't just affect their finances. It affects their ability to fully engage in the university experience. And that ultimately impacts retention, success, and the overall strength of this institution. I chose the University of Iowa because I believe in the value of what it offers academically, professionally, and personally. I still believe that. I'm proud to be here, and I'm proud to represent students in my role. But part of that responsibility is making sure student perspectives are clearly heard. So while I want to thank you again for the steps you've taken to limit increases this year, I also encourage that you continue prioritizing long-term affordability and to consider the cumulative impact these decisions have over time. Because for many students, the question isn't just whether they can afford one more year, it's whether they can afford to finish. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Emily. Next, Jacob Payne, representing graduate and professional student government in the University of Iowa. Jacob.
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all today. My name is Jacob Payne, and I am the incoming president. I'll be inaugurated on Saturday for graduate and professional student government at the University of Iowa. And I appreciate the opportunity to learn with you all about everything going on in higher education in Iowa. I have now lived in the state for 4 years and moved here for this PhD program that I'm part of. And I have really enjoyed everything that I've been learning as part of that experience. I represent over 8,000 graduate and professional students across many disciplines: medicine, law, pharmacy, engineering. I'm learning all of these, nursing, fine arts, PhD programs. That's where I come from. So I'm gaining a lot of diverse experience. And what I want to emphasize in my remarks today is that graduate students experience these tuition and fees very differently across the board from each other and from undergraduate students. But that what remains core to that experience is having a university that is able to be successful and multiply the skill and talent that those students bring. So I want to be upfront about making remarks on tuition policy. That's new to me. I study physics, so I had to do some reading about this topic. And as I mentioned, I'm familiar with the student experience from my years here so far. So what I can share is that I found some reports that talk about where we are in a national perspective. I hear a lot about how tuition is changing at the University of Iowa, and I wanted to understand how those dynamics compare to universities broadly. And what I found sort of surprised me, that we've talked about the shifting burdens, and it turns out that since 2011, state universities across the country have charged more tuition in-state than they've received in state funding. I think that when I learned that surprised me, because it's a conversation we usually think of as an Iowa unique situation. But that's actually a way that Iowa compares naturally with the rest of public universities. Where we stand out is that among public universities, we've seen tuition become actually modestly more affordable over the last 5 years, according to a College Board report from 2025. But the University of Iowa has become has changed lowly in that category. Without getting into second derivatives, basically, we're looking at a change in Iowa that has made us, while slightly more affordable, we're moving away from the pack. And that's something that I want to focus on slightly. A modest tuition increase that tracks inflation is fairly natural, and it's a predictable behavior. And the university needs revenue to retain good faculty and staff. Those people are what make the degree worth getting in the first place. In this way, we would expect to see tuition increasing, and graduate and professional students experience that as an improvement in some of the ability to receive funding and be in programs that are well supported. The proposed 3% increase will land differently depending on degree programs. For some graduate students, tuition is covered through funded positions for teaching and research. What matters most for them is that those positions remain funded and that the university can support their work. For professional students in law, dentistry, medicine, and all the others, the dollar amounts are very different, but what all of these students have in common is that we benefit from a well-funded university. Stewarding the resources, faculty, and facilities, those things matter regardless of who's writing the tuition check. So in that way, I support the board's proposed 3% increase. One thing worth keeping in mind, if inflation is running above the 3%, the university absorbs that difference in purchasing power, which is worth watching, and I encourage this board to remain attentive to that. Beyond tuition, I urge the board to continue advocating to the state for stronger appropriations. Tuition is one lever, but state funding is the other, and both are needed to keep this engine running. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jacob. Gabriel Salazar, representing UNI.
Good morning, everyone. I usually tend to be a loudspeaker, so if everyone can hear me okay, that's awesome. Good morning, and good morning to the board. I'm Gabriel Salazar, the incoming student body president at the University of Northern Iowa. I was born and raised here in Iowa, growing up on the bend of the Mississippi in Muscatine. So beautiful runs on that river in the sunrise. So today I'm speaking on behalf of both of our undergraduate and graduate students. To begin, we'd like to thank the Board of Regents for their continued support of affordable education at our Regent universities. The 3% increase is seen by our students, and we understand it. You know, your work with the legislators and our universities is seen by our student body, and we appreciate your dedication to us. And while no student likes to see a tuition rise, we understand the importance of funding our education, staff, and resources across our campuses. With that in mind, our student government has been working to be fiscally responsible this last administration and into the next. This past year, we collaborated with our Director of Finance to effectively manage our budget and distribute our resources, ensuring that our funding can directly benefit student organizations in an impactful and efficient way. We've also worked diligently to create an efficient budget for our student organizations into our next year without having to raise our budget requests. Additionally, former President Webster sat on our student fees with our student representatives, and I sat on President Nook's Presidential Advisory Committee. A big theme for the Presidential Advisory Committee is finding ways we can be more efficient with campus resources. Most importantly, we sat down and asked ourselves, where are places that we can generate revenue as opposed to reduction of resources? And in this committee, we have successfully discussed revenue priorities within our athletics, efficiency with facilities on campus, and overall, in both of these committees, we've been able to receive input from not only departments, but also students on campus. I'm proud of the work that we have done thus far as a student government, but there's still more to do. Going forward, we plan to continue advocating for our mental health ask with our fellow Regent institutions, as well as asking for continued support from the legislators. But according to an article from the Iowa Capitol Dispatch, it explains that over 66% of our higher education system budget is funded by tuition in the state of Iowa. And this can be difficult for a lot of families, especially for those who are first-generation students or Iowans, middle-class Iowans from small towns like me. And in the fall of this last year, nearly a third of our graduating students were first-generation college students. And this fall, in all, UNI has had over 90% of our student body being students from Iowa. But with this, we have been contributing to the success of these students with the resources that we have. UNI has been doing an excellent job of getting students done in 3 years and into the workforce, with our 3-year graduation rate jumping to over 14% and rising. And with our growing programs, such as nursing, engineering, and teaching, we've had the ability to help students fill needs in our workforce. With these contributions to both our education and workforce, we hope that we can find more financial support from our legislators in the future, as well as the continued backing of the Board of Regents. I see this to be a great possibility in the future. Recently, we had our day at the Capitol, and there was one moment that really stuck out to me. They passed a resolution celebrating 150 years at UNI, and it was such an amazing moment because as I was standing in the House floor with Allie Webster, we noticed that there are people from both sides of the aisles. They're laughing, there was camaraderie, and it was a great thing to see because all you see today is polarization. And it was beautiful to me because we got to see that they're all Panthers at the end of the day. And it didn't matter what side they came from. And that's something that gave us hope as we look into working with the legislator into this next year. Once again, we thank the Board of Regents for their support and care for our students, and we look forward to working with both of you and our fellow student governments this next year. And while tuition is always a sensitive subject, at the end of the day, we know any decision made is for the greater good of our students. And what I learned from the legislators that day is that we might not all take the same route, but at the end of the day, we all have that same destination, to help students and to better the state of Iowa. And we look forward to reaching our destination with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriel. Michael Carroll, representing Iowa State's Graduate and Professional Student Government. Michael?
Hello, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to discuss the tuition with you today. Tuition is a complex matter that, to be honest, I'll echo Jacob's words, I am not a finance person, and just as complex for graduate students in particular. I struggled to introduce myself for what am I to Iowa State. Am I a PhD student studying animal science who's on an assistantship? Am I a master's student studying statistics, paying tuition? Am I a graduate assistant collecting a paycheck for the research I do for my boss? Am I the president of GPSS as a student representative? Or am I a volunteer for 4-H Extension who shares my expertise to the next generation to encourage students to come here in the future? All of those things are true, and tuition increases affect all of those positions differently for me. As a graduate student, a lot of us are lucky enough to be on an assistantship that helps us pay for our tuition and provides us a salary for the research or work that we do for the university. And I would like to focus on the comparison between your partner universities in that comparison. For students not on an assistantship, that comparison table is a fair comparison of how their tuition rates compared to our partner universities. However, for students on an assistantship, that's not a clear comparison. As PhD students here at Iowa State, we get 100% tuition reimbursement, which is very beneficial to us. However, master's students receive a 75% tuition reimbursement, which is not a fair comparison to our partner universities shown on that list. And to give you an example, this past year as the TA, I'm required to take 2 TA credits from my professor, and I teach a poultry science course. And I think this course in particular is one of the reasons that Iowa State continues to be a leader in agricultural education, as our students in the undergrad course receive hands-on education of what it means to raise a broiler to market. Poultry is one of the leading proteins consumed worldwide, and these students need to know how food makes it to their table. They start with a fertile egg, they hatch that egg, and they grow the chicken all the way, and then they process it here in our meat lab on campus. While I understand that's a very expensive process, those students are paying lab fees to take that course. And as a TA, it's a privilege to show these kids who probably did not grow up on a farm what it takes to get food on their table. However, throughout that semester, I spend time preparing lectures, giving those lectures, having office hours, providing supplemental review sessions at 7 p.m. on a Thursday night. And then when those chicks are born, I wake up at 4 in the morning to drive 2 hours to pick them up from the hatchery and drive back before the students show up for class to see their baby chicks. I help mix those feed on Saturday morning. All day, we mix feed for those students. And then on Friday night, when I'm about to leave the office at 7 p.m., I get a call from the farm manager that they're out of feed and I must go and feed them because the students aren't there to do it. So I go. The day that processing comes, I wake up at 4 in the morning to load up those chickens to bring them to the meat lab, so they're there for the students. The students are there for 2 hours for lab, and they process maybe 1 or 2 chickens individually. The remaining chickens must be processed. For the rest of the day, I'm in there. And then I stay and I help the meat lab clean up at the end. So I've now spent 12 hours in a processing plant. For me, it's a quite enjoyable teaching experience that I'm glad to get the opportunity to share with these undergrad students. Now, for the coming year, we will receive a new master's student in our lab group who will take on the responsibility of TAing that course. The biggest difference for him is that at the end of the semester, after getting a pat on the back from our professor saying, "Good job," he will also receive a U-bill for 25% of the cost of those teaching assistant credits. So, thank you for your consideration, and I will pass it to the next speaker.
Thank you, Michael, and we'll conclude our remarks with Brody Kuzi, representing Iowa State's undergraduate.
Wow, that was hard to follow. Really, all of the people before me, thank you. Michael, I was that youth who lived in the city but had my experience with it, extension and outreach, and I really think that brought me here. So little introductions. I'm Brody Kuzi. I'm the student body president at Iowa State University, representing all 30,000 plus students here, and that's a privilege. So my remarks will look a little bit different than the others before me. First, I want to speak on really the 4 or 5 areas that are up for proposal right now. So those are areas of mandatory fee proposals, tuition proposals, and then room and board. So looking specifically at the first mandatory fee proposal, that's information technology services here at the university. Something that students appreciate with that is consistent, reliable technology. Students of need of particular services or of accessibility in the classroom, this fee serves them. The building fee pays for the Memorial Union. As student government leaders, we're housed in the Memorial Union, and our experiences as students can revolve around that building. There's activities, concerts, and engagements in that building that directly serve thousands of students and sometimes have thousands of daily visitors through that single building. The next is recreation fee proposal, and that serves our recreation services department, which provides facilities, programming, and special travel to students so that they can go rock climbing out in the wilderness, so they can join an intramural activity. I'm losing the name, but one you get in, the best way I can describe it is a boat in one of the pools, and you have a pail, and you sink the other boat with your pail and your team. Again, I can't remember the name, but Recreation Services directly serves the student experience and is very critical to our university. Next is tuition. Tuition is a big one. Tuition is what brings leading research to the classroom, and it brings students to the classroom to learn, engage, and work with their hands. And at Iowa State University, I can say that I've had those experiences, and my peers have had those experiences as well. So those areas are leading research, those areas are hands-on experience in the classroom, and those experiences are instructors that they know and remember for their careers. And that really fits most undergraduate students and graduate students, especially on research and their experiences beyond the classroom, like Michael talked about. Now, the final one is room and board. That provides accessibility in close proximity to the classroom, which is important for many students. And those areas also very directly serve students almost every night. For most students, maybe they go home on the weekend, but they still enjoy and very much utilize their facilities. Now, I do want to bring your attention to a couple of challenges along the way to get to those contributions to the student experience. The first is affordability. The next is maybe the student who can only afford 7 semesters instead of 8. Maybe they can only afford 6 semesters. Maybe they can only afford 5. So they're asking their department for a waiver increase to go over the 18 threshold. They're taking more credits to not pay the minimum the next semester to finish their program. Maybe that means the student who's working a part-time job or 2 or 3 to make it work, or they're working around campus employment. Maybe it's off campus in an internship. I'm an engineer in an engineering internship right now, and that has served me well. But other students, most work, I think. We'd have to work with the university to look at some of those things. Career services is another great opportunity that comes from all these things. So affordability, workload between class and work is the best way I can describe it. Those are challenges. Other challenges might be personally in an individual's life. That could be food insecurity, transportation from the big states that feed our university here at Iowa State, which are Minnesota and Illinois. There's challenges in getting from Minnesota to Iowa, or from Illinois to Iowa for a large population of our students, and strengthening those areas is definitely of interest to myself and our student government on a high-level overview. Things I want to recognize is board policy, which keeps these things to a 3-year inflationary average. There is a level of predictability with that, which all students can appreciate, whether they know the policy or not. So, President Kramer and the board, thank you.
Thank you, Brody, and I appreciate all of you and your comments today. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, President Kramer.
Any questions for the students? I just had a couple comments. Thank you so much, and for all the student leaders that are at the breakfast this morning. It's good to hear from all of you. And having these 2 presentations back to back explains the tension. You know, we had staff and faculty before you, and the importance of having good staff and retention, and what it takes wage-wise to keep them and to recruit good talent. And then the effect on tuition increase, because that's where the money's going to come from, is tuition increase. So, but I also appreciate the way that you guys are professional and seem to understand the tension that we're up against, and communicating that to your fellow students has been helpful as well. But thanks for all you do, and we'll keep partnering together. So, thank you. I now recognize Brad Berg from the board office to, not do that, to make remarks about the proposed tuition and fees for 26 and 27.
I think we're ready for a vote, are we not?
So so the proposal is, can you explain what the proposal is, the 3%?
Oh, certainly.
Okay, it's in the motion, so I can explain here, Brad. So a motion and second are required to approve the following. So the proposed tuition and mandatory fees for the 26-27 academic year as outlined in the agenda item effective with the fall 2026 session, and B, the allocation of the Regent University's mandatory student fees for 26-27 academic year as outlined in the agenda item, and C, the proposed common and university and program-specific fees for the 26-27 academic year as outlined in the agenda item. Is there a motion for that?
So moved.
Moved by Regent Jaden. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Regent Dunkel. Now discussion. Regent Hensley.
Thank you very much. I would just like to thank all the students. What a great job you did. I am really, really impressed with your comments. And I would say I am sympathetic to what you're dealing with. And I'm also sympathetic to the board. Making decisions on fees and tuition is probably one of the more challenging things that we have to do, because you have to figure out what is the right balance. And I want to go back and comment on the presentations that were made yesterday, because that really has, I think, strengthened my decision. And I will be a no vote, and I just want people to understand why. First of all, we terminated 10 majors yesterday. There was action taken on 10 majors that we terminated. When you look at what is the financial impact of the termination of those majors, it's not much. And that's because faculty will still stay there. Some places there may be contracts, there may be reasons, but when you look at the overall impact of terminating 10 majors, in my world, I would think that that could be pretty substantial. But based upon the information we had yesterday, it was not. The financial aid presentation that we had yesterday, I did take offense to that, because I thought there were some comments that were made that weren't exactly appropriate. But what I really focused on was the gap, the tuition gap, and the fact that you're going to have students that have to incur way more debt. And we're talking about wanting to make it affordable for the students here. So I have real concerns about a 3% increase right now. The budget gaps that were discussed yesterday, I heard 3%, or I heard 3 million, 5 million, 6 million. Those are always difficult to deal with, budget gaps. Nobody wants to have to deal with budget gaps. However, when you look at the overall percentage of those gaps compared to the total budget, I cannot believe that it's going to be that difficult to make up those gaps. And when you look at what the legislature is doing right now, they've got a budget that's going to be a 1.6% increase. 1.6. You have a cap that cities are being required to adhere to. 2%. Universities, I know there's an efficiency study coming on, but universities, we have to look at, we can't continue increasing tuition every single year. And that's what's been happening. You've got a bill on tuition guarantee that is in the legislature. You've got the efficiency study. I just think that this is a year that we should have a pause and not have a tuition increase. Even if there's a feeling that you still need to move forward with the tuition increase, 3% is too much when you look at everything else that's going on within the state.
All right, any other comments? Yeah, Regent County.
Is it, thank you, Mr. President. Can we still ask a question? Is that still appropriate? Thank you, Brad. Regent Hensley referred to the gap, and it was referred to yesterday, 5, 10, up to $20 million. I am curious, and I'd like to know, how do we do this gap? Broad strokes. I don't need to call up all 3 universities to get down to the nuts and bolts, but are we going towards endowments earnings, corpus, savings, efficiencies. I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, I think as the universities continue to develop their budgets here over the next few months, they'll be identifying resources that they can reallocate. They're looking for efficiencies where they can spend less money in certain areas. But no, they'll and this is something that kind of occurs every year. I mean, it is part of their budget process, and so they do continuously look for, okay, if we've got an initiative over here, we're going to find those revenue and redirect some of those maybe from another expense area to address those initiatives. So it is part of their standard budget process every year.
I would just add, in terms of where we're at with the process, with the legislature, with REAPs, I'm not blaming anyone. This is all new. REAPs is new. The law of having to, that was put into effect for us to vote on tuition in April as a deadline, this is all new. But it is unenviable and unfortunate that we're in this situation with uncertainty to vote for this right now. I want to be supportive. I am going to be supportive, but I don't like the timing, and I think we can do better. I think we can all do better, and we all should do better. And I want to go on the record saying that. And again, I understand things are new. These are big institutions. These are billions of dollars. This is our state budget, and it's a new thing. So we're not going to get it perfect the first time. But we should strive to get this perfect going forward. And I just think the timing and the process can be improved upon. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah, Regent Gipple.
I think I'm realizing, as I'm receiving this education, I'm actively going to classes and I'm seeing, we're hearing from professors, there's a lot of gaps in faculty pay as well as even with tuition rises. And I think the thing that brings me most comfort as a student that is preparing to pay for this education, this 3% increase on top of what I've already paid for my current school year, is that our universities are taking action as a response. Like, I receive financial aid from my university, and I think that brings me comfort knowing that these universities are responding and they're using that tuition and they're putting it back into students as well. And if not, it's going into resources and it's going back into the students even when there are gaps and there are decisions to be made for other resources. So I think that brings me comfort.
Yeah, thanks for those comments. Yeah, a couple of comments. I just following up on what I said maybe last meeting is that, the simple math is if the state is providing a third of the money for our general education budget and they're not increasing us at all, we're increasing our 2/3 tuition by 3%. That's a net of 2% over our entire general education budget. So to me, it's pretty lean when we're not knowing what efficiencies we can gain from REAPs. Also, a portion of that is being used to help students, invest back into the students to help those to afford it, so it even bites into it a little bit more. So it seems like, the result is going to be either the university is going to have to trim some staff, become more efficient, or if we can luck out and have a little bit of enrollment growth, that can help a little bit, but it also means you might need more staff. So we're feeling all that tension, and I feel like we've come to a result for this year that is reasonable and defendable. So I would be supporting that. But any other discussion before we vote? All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Regent Dunkel?
Yes.
Regent Lacey?
Yes.
Regent Hensley?
No.
Regent Rouse?
Yes.
Regent Reiswick?
Yes.
Regent Gipple?
Yes.
Regent Jaden?
Yes.
Regent County?
Aye.
And Regent Kramer votes yes. The motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. I'll now recognize Iowa State University Vice President for Extension and Outreach, Jason Henderson, for a presentation. And it might be Provost Keith introducing.
Thank you, President Kramer. You know, we had Cook, Nook, and Wilson. Now there's 2 Jasons. It's my pleasure to introduce our April speaker, Jason Henderson, Vice President of Iowa State University Extension and Outreach. Jason is an Iowa native, raised on a dairy farm, and an expert in economics, with positions both at Purdue University and the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City. He is laser focused on how state and federal investments in extension can be leveraged to generate economic development and growth in rural communities, while also preparing for the next generation of Iowa leaders through 4-H youth development. Jason spearheaded a refocus of 4-H in Iowa on agriculture, leadership, and STEM. These activities are all critical to Iowa's future, and they part and parcel of Iowa State's land grant mission. Jason joined Iowa State in 2003 and has been highly successful in his work to mission align our Extension and Outreach Office with the strategic plan of the university and the needs of our stakeholders. I appreciate the opportunity to have him speak with you today. Jason.
Great. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, President Kramer. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, President Kramer, for the opportunity to be here today, and thank you to all the Regents for all of your work and support, especially for the Iowa State budget requests that had in there for support, potentially for extension and outreach. So Iowa State University, we were built for moments of change. We were created during the Civil War. We were built for innovation. And for more than a century, extension and outreach has been the one mechanism and tool that took science to practice to all of our communities across the state, helping them grow, helping them adapt, and helping them innovate. Now, the budget challenges are a little different. And so over the last couple of years, we've been focused on 2 objectives. Number 1, focusing our investments and resources on those things that matter most to Iowa: ag and food innovation, resilient communities, talent and workforce development. The second thing that we've been focused on is how do we reimagine and prune and focus our programs so that they're efficient, that they're effective, and that they deliver return on investment. Now, we've been intentional and disciplined in those choices. We've held true to our values of service and stewardship. And the result is that we have a system now that is emerging as more focused, more aligned with the university and the state, and focused on delivering greater economic value for the state of Iowa. So I want to share how this strategy is already producing results and some of the things that we have thinking about moving forward of where it is. Now, most people know extension through 4-H and agriculture. But today, Iowa State Extension is a statewide engine for economic growth, workforce development, and technological innovation, all priorities for the state and the university. We are a statewide system. We are rooted on campus, but we reach and work through 100 county offices throughout the state of Iowa. That brings Iowa State's research, education, and innovation directly to Iowans, and we do it through scale, whether we're reaching almost 1 million Iowans through educational engagements, reaching more than 117,000 youth through 4-H, whether we're working through our volunteers that help us leverage many things from Master Gardeners to 4-H, we are embedded in our communities and bringing innovation to life. Now, because of our funding challenges and environments demand us to be more clear and more disciplined, Extension, we've sharpened our focus into 3 areas. The first one is agriculture and food systems. Now, Iowa is an agricultural powerhouse, but farm profitability alone will not deliver the economic benefits that our rural communities need. And just a quick example, only 15 cents of every dollar spent on food goes back to agriculture. So how do we capture the other 85 cents right here in Iowa? How do we do that? What if Iowa focuses on being a food state? What if we think about focusing on adding value here, investments here, jobs here, income here in the state? Extension made investments in this last year through a new food, business, and innovation hub. And last year, we reached more than 1,000 small food businesses, helping them with many different things, up from 143 businesses the previous year, and they're reporting stronger jobs, more investments, more profits. At the same time, we are focused on farm profitability. And how do we help farmers be more profitable, especially in today's times? And through our crop advantage programs and ag technology programs and stronger collaborations with the Digital Ag Innovation Lab, our participants in our programs are reporting that the benefit they receive is topping $10 per acre. That matters in today's environment. And participants in our winter economic program said that they were benefiting to the tune of $1,000 per participant. Now, it's hard to get farmers to admitting that they're making money. And so these types of things and benefits are true, and they're coming from them on what they're saying. This is innovation moving into practice, and this is practice moving into profitability. This is what we're doing for agriculture. The second area of focus is about strengthening communities, about helping them adopt and adapt and plan and grow. One example, and a powerful example, is the Rural Housing Readiness Assessment. It started as a $360,000 initial investment from the Iowa Economic Development Authority. It spurred over $159 million in rural housing investments, with another $118 additional million of investment along the way. That's real returns. You've already heard about the Mayor's Design Workshop, where we're partnering with colleges and others across the university and partnering with our communities. This is where we're giving hands-on experiences for our students to get real work experience so that they're ready to work, ready to lead, and when they're ready to graduate. This is Iowa State's at its best. Students learning by doing, and communities gaining the expertise that they need to grow. The third area is focused on people, because none of this works without talent. We've always been focused on workforce development. We called it 4-H. We've always been focused on STEM. We called it agriculture. Last year, we did set a new strategic direction of STEM, agriculture, and leadership, directly aligned with the university's strategy and priorities. And through our partnerships, we have a lot of things that we can tout. We've reached 10,000 students last year through AI education, new initiatives. You heard today about a first robotics competition held in Northeast Iowa. I want to give a shout out to Team Neutrino out of Ames. Out of that competition, I think they qualified for the Nationals. I also want to give a shout out to our 4-H youth that won the 4-H AI and Ag competition last year, because they just went to regionals and their next stop is the White House, because they qualified for the national competition last week. And if things go well, I hope I can say that we brought home 2 national championships to the state of Iowa. These are early signs and indicators, if we're focused and aligned with university priorities, of the impacts that we can have in the state of Iowa. I also can't forget the lifelong learning that we have in terms of workforce development. We delivered last year over 163,000 certifications, whether it's childcare, pesticide application, food safety, government service, all of these things of helping our workforce get the certifications they need to work and to deliver value. We also support families through financial stability programs, caregiving programs, aging well programs, mental health and well-being, because we know that you need to have a strong family environment to thrive, not just workforce certifications. We're helping Iowans build resilience and thrive throughout their lifetime. Now, those are some highlights we take great pride in, but I also want to speak directly about efficiency and stewardship, and respond to some questions, high-level questions that arose from a recent REAPS meeting with our institutional representatives. In the time of rising costs and flat federal and state spending, Extension, we've taken a disciplined, values-driven approach to our business. We have pursued new revenue sources while making strategic choices about the programs and staffing that we have. We approached every one of them through our core values of service and stewardship, serving Iowans well and stewarding resources responsibly. So our strong growth that we've enjoyed over the last year in grant and fee-based activity reversed course this year in a tough budget environment. And to avoid deficit spending, we did not fill as many positions as we typically did, both on campus and in counties, and as a result, our employment is down 5% this year. It's also part of a long-term trend where we're down 17% from 2015 levels. These are not across-the-board reductions. These were intentional decisions guided by where we can serve Iowans most effectively. For example, in 4-H, we readjusted and reimagined our regional specialist positions and focusing more on direct delivery because that is what impacts the youth the most. Also in our nutrition and education programs, we're redesigned with fewer staff, but broader reach, especially in some of our rural communities, because that's where the need is most needed. We've also done things like shared service agreements with our counties. And when you combine administrative shared services and insurance premiums, we're saving $2.6 million annually in our costs. And counties are now, each and every year, more of them using regional management, which has reduced our administrative positions by 20% since 2020, allowing for reinvestment in programs and people who deliver measurable outcomes. And we're able to focus on delivering service and impacts throughout the state. So as I close, I just want to be clear. These decisions are not about doing more with less. These decisions are about doing what matters most for the state of Iowa and the people that we serve. Our challenges are real, but so are our opportunities. Extension is a mechanism that connects the university innovation to community action. We turn science into practice. We've been doing it for over 100 years. And when we are aligned and intentional, we see businesses grow, we see farms become more profitable, we see communities expand housing, and we see youth that are become ready for work, they're ready for life, and they're ready to compete for national championships. That's the Iowa State way. So with that, we're built for this moment, for this time of change. We're helping Iowans in the state grow and compete and build a stronger future. So thank you for the opportunity to share our story. We have a lot of work to do. We take it on with great pride, and it's a pleasure to be here today. And thank you for your support in the state budget ask as it goes through. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Good presentation. Any questions for Jason Squared? Anybody? All right, thank you. It was a really good presentation. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, now the Board of Regents will now accept nominations for the office of President for the Board for a term commencing May 1st, 2026 and expiring April 30th, 2028. Are there any nominations? Regent County?
I would nominate Robert Kramer for president.
All right, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Regent Hensley. Are there any other nominations for president? All right, well, seeing none, we'll now move to close nominations. So we're looking for, this would be a vote to just close the nominations. All those in favor of closing nominations, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Nominations are now closed. So now the Board of Regents will take action on the nomination of Regent Kramer for the office of President for a term from May 1, 26 to April 30, 28. And we'll do a roll call vote. So Regent Dunkel.
Yes.
Regent Jaden.
Yes.
Regent Hensley.
Yes.
Regent Rouse.
Yes.
Regent Reiswick.
Yes.
Regent Gipple.
Yes.
Regent County.
Aye.
Regent Lacey.
Yes.
And Regent Kramer votes yes. So that motion is approved.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Yeah. And I do appreciate the trust that you put in me. We'll do the same thing for President Pro Tem. So is there a, oh, 2 pages down. So for the office of President Pro Tem of the board for same term, May 1, 26 to April 30 of 28, are there any nominations for this?
I'll nominate Regent Jaden.
Thank you, Regent Rouse. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Regent Lacey. Are there any other nominations for President Pro Tem? All right, seeing none, we will take a motion to close nominations. So all those in favor of closing nominations, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. All right, nominations are closed. The Board of Regents will now take action on the nomination of Regent Jaden for the office of President Pro Tem for a term to commence May 1, 2026 and expire April 30, 2028. We'll do a roll call vote for this. Regent Dunkel.
Yes.
Regent Jaden.
Yes.
Regent Hensley.
Yes.
Regent Rouse.
Yes.
Regent Reiswick.
Yes.
Regent Gipple.
Yes.
Regent County.
Aye.
Regent Lacey.
Yes.
Regent Kramer votes yes. The motion is approved. You are in as well. So
Thank you for your support.
All right, we are getting to the end. The board has necessity to meet in closed session for the following reasons. In accordance with Iowa Code Section 21.5.1.c, to discuss strategy with counsel in matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent and premature disclosure would likely prejudice or disadvantage the position of the board, and in accordance with Iowa Code Section 21.5.1.a, to review or discuss employee records which are required or authorized to be maintained as confidential in accordance with Iowa Code Section 22.7.11. At the conclusion of the closed session, the board will reconvene in open session. Is there a motion that the board enter closed session?
Moved.
Moved by Regent Hensley. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Regent Lacey. Any further discussion? Any discussion? Roll call vote. Regent Dunkel?
Yes.
Regent Jaden?
Yes.
Regent Hensley?
Yes.
Regent Rouse?
Yes.
Regent Reiswick?
Yes.
Regent Gipple?
Yes.
Regent County?
Aye.
Regent Lacey?
Yes.
Regent Kramer votes yes. Motion is approved. As we go into closed session, thank you all for being here and appreciate your support of our universities. soon as we have the secret signal. Are we live stream? Okay. Good. We're back in open session, and in the matter of the appeal of employee A, a motion and a second is required to reverse the final institutional decision and rescind the disciplinary actions in their entirety. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Moved by Regent Jaden and seconded by Regent Dunkel. We'll do a roll call vote of all in favor. Regent Dunkel?
Yes.
Regent Jaden?
Yes.
Regent Hensley? Yes. Regent Rouse?
Yes.
Regent Reiswick?
Yes.
Regent Gipple?
Yes.
Regent County?
Aye.
Regent Lacey?
Yes.
And Regent Kramer votes yes, so the motion is approved. So this concludes the board's business. The meeting of the Iowa Board of Regents is adjourned.